People are very optimistic about the economic outlook in 2025, but some challenges linger. In my opinion, the impact of second Trump's administration, the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, and immigration remain the top talking points that will help shape the economic outlook for 2025. Hi, my name is Sunny, and a quick like share alongside smashing that like button will be highly appreciated. Many people are concerned about Donald Trump's discussions on tariffs, which could impact countries differently based on their trade balance with the US. Moving from a free trade under USMCA to proposing a 20% duty on imports from Mexico and Canada is surprising. The rising trade deficit harms the US economy, especially as China, the EU, and India also have substantial trade surpluses and imposes tariffs on US imports. While potentially beneficial to US economy, this America First policy could also have significant negative implications for other countries, particularly those with substantial trade surpluses with America. Canada and the US are land of immigrants, but the explosive growth rate in last few years has become a concern. In the USA, illegal border crossing from Canada and Mexico have become a political issue now. Donald Trump has promised to deport a large number of such migrants back while forcing its north and southern neighbors to step up border security. Similarly, high temporary migrants in Canada have also become a political issue as elections are due next year. Consequently, citizens are now calling for substantial cuts in immigration levels in both nations, as well as accelerated levels of deportations. Inflation is often considered a silent creeping tax on citizens. Bank of Canada's inflation target is below 2%, but it reached close to 10% some time ago. It's below 2% now, but the Canadian economy has become stagnant as businesses are reluctant to invest, thus higher unemployment. We will see more rate cuts in 2025 as central banks around the world are slashing rates to prop up their economies. Historically, people overspend during December holidays, hence tightening their belts in the next financial year, which will have a negative effect both on growth and GDP for at least the first quarter of 2025. Western economies are heavily dependent on consumer spending for their economic growth. In most cases, it is fueled by expansion of debt both on personal as well as corporate levels. The fact that people spend on aspirational things fuel economies is also called as wealth effect. The disposable income in Canada has stagnated as we have faced many challenges from a pandemic and a cost of living to inflation. The fact remains that people are left with little to spend on themselves after housing and food, and they have to go into debt for aspirational spending, which I think will linger in 2025 as well. The economic outlook is tied to the stock market. The reason is that wherever you invest, from bank deposits to your pension funds or even life insurance, you are all eventually invested in the stock market. The stock market is a broad barometer that tells you how our macroeconomy is doing. I may not be an expert in stocks. Still, somebody borrows from the bank, invests in the markets, and keeps the arbitrage. So why not educate yourself and keep that margin? I agree that stock market varies from pessimism to extreme exuberance, but that is where intelligent minds spot opportunities, and there is nothing wrong because that is our capitalistic economy. People are worried about recessions, And in the backdrop of how high inflation has risen, why are we not expecting a deep recession? The biggest concern is the ballooning government debt in Western economies. Is that going to cause a significant crisis? The world has not forgotten the 2008 US financial crisis and its lingering effect on the world economy much after that. Quantitative easing during a pandemic and the following inflation led to the cost of living crisis. I worry about how substantial government debts will affect us when interest payments take a significant share of government's revenue going forward. Trump's America First policy will shape the global economy in 2025, but Canada will be affected economically. Look at the Canadian dollar, which is at its lowest point in 20 years as compared to the US dollar, which is eventually leading to increased import costs and higher inflation in Canada. While Trump's policies may benefit the US, they could surely harm Canada economically. I believe the Bank of Canada will need to lower rates aggressively in 2025. Although inflation may be back below 2%, we cannot overlook the issues of unemployment and exchange rate of the Canadian dollar. Given these challenges, we should focus more on skill based immigration rather than attracting high school students from abroad. As a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Please consult one before investing based on your personal financial situation, and don't forget to do your own due diligence. If you like the content that I make, please help me and my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing to it. So, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.